seconds. Look, if you've only got that long to live, you probably don't want to hear me droning on. So let's bring in our Europe correspondent, Robert Nisbet, who is with a collection of individuals who think the end is nigh. Congratulations, Robert, by the way. All your reports have managed to avoid using REM's The End of the World as We Know It.
We did have an editorial discussion about that particular point, as I'm sure you can imagine. It was interesting, actually, a couple of minutes ago, Colin. The engineer, Nigel, in our satellite truck said that there was breakup on the picture, that we were starting to have problems with our signal coming out of Bugarach. I think it's probably less to do with the aliens that are meant to be in this mountain that could potentially rescue the people of Bugarach, and probably more to do with the hundreds of journalists all picking up their telephones or all going live at this particular moment to record perhaps the time when we're all rescued. And unfortunately you won't be because you're nowhere near Bugarach, and the aliens are only going to pick off a few people around here, not go over to Sky Centre in Osterley, and for that I apologise.
It's all right, no need to apologise, because I fully expect in a couple of minutes still to be talking to you, Robert. Tell us who's there, lots of journalists and the police, because actually there's a reluctance to try and let too many people gather where you are.
That's correct. They were taking no chances, and it really was a very effective police cordon blocking off this town. Every road leading into Bugarach had at least 3 or 4 gendarmes who checked passports and press cards, and only accredited journalists were allowed to come into the town.
Hey,
they were
Robert,
keeping people from trying to reach this mountain and potentially...
Robert, I tell you what, you better hang on, because there's an infinitesimal chance, I suppose, that the Mayans were onto something. Well, we're still here. We're still here, Robert.
Oh, right.
You're still here.
You can hear me now, can you?
I can hear you. I can hear you. And you very appropriately decided to wear your survival jacket, by the way. We noticed with all the extra zips.
Yes, exactly. I've got everything I need for maybe a long trip with extraterrestrials, all the comforts of home, trail bars, things like that. We are very, very well prepared. That is quite bizarre, though, isn't it? Now that we seem to be having some kind of technical difficulties here, but have a little look out on the mountain and see if you can see anything flying in or flying out. This should be the moment. I would have thought that they'd start revving up the engine. And perhaps the top of the mountain will open up. No, not seeing anything at the moment.
I'll tell you what, Robert.
We were shown some pictures of little... Yeah.
I was going to say, Robert, I've given some odd requests to Sky camera operators down the years, but moving on the mountain to see the alien spaceships is not one of them.
Yes, well, we don't actually have a cameraman behind the camera, otherwise I would do that for you. Not that he's run for his life, but we have another camera up in the town trying to capture this moment to see whether normal life carries on in Bugarach. So I'm flying solo, perhaps like the aliens inside the mountain at the moment. But I'm hoping that the craft would be big enough, even on this wider shot, for you to be able to see it. But no, there's nothing. And the sun's come out, which is rather nice. So this is all great for the tourism industry and great for us filling moments on Sky News, but I think we can safely say that the world hasn't ended and the aliens haven't come out to rescue us. OK, Robert, sterling work. Thanks very much indeed. Your job is done. You've lived to tell another tale. Let's go to Bolivia, Lake Titicaca, I believe. Mayans celebrating the end of the old 5,000-year-long calendar and the beginning of a new one. Shall we have a listen? Guatemala. I'm not sure why they... I suppose it is dark in Guatemala, isn't it? But the important thing to note is that it's still there, that temple. It's not the midday sun that's suddenly being clouded over. The Tikal ruins in Guatemala. OK, we're all still here. The world goes on. Calm down.